Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. This bulletin is coming to you live from the Joy 99.7 FM studios, Kokomlemle in Accra, at digital address GA0993341. Also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, affiliates across the country, including Pad FM in Dalmongo, Jubilee FM in Keta, and Sunshine FM in Boko. It's on ABN Radio in London and around the world at myjoyonline.com. The news is brought to you by UMB Bank, UMB Speed Up, Digibank, Let's Go, Super Sam Cement, Build Your Dream, and Telesol 4G, just a touch. In this edition, customers of Gold Dealership Men's Gold must up at outlets across the country to get verified as the company begins the process to settle their locked up funds. We are live on the ground and we'll bring you live updates on the verification process here in Accra and Kumasi. Also, participants at the Joy Business Oil and Gas Forum in Accra call for a restructuring of the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation to properly manage oil money expenditure. We are live there at the Melvin Pick Ambassador Hotel as well. And also details as ranking member on Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament who wants an open participatory system in terms of effecting petroleum agreement. And U.S. Embassy surprised by government's decision to terminate PDA's agreement as it reviews Ghana negotiated while the Millennium Challenge Corporation to ensure Meralco be maintained in the deal. And much later also would get into the life of the 12-year-old child prodigy Viamins Banfo as he shares his academic journey as he begins pursuit of public administration course at the University of Ghana. We have all that and more here on the Midday News Plus Sports.
New Ghana Football Association President Keto Kruku has been backed by Normalization Committee President Dr. Kofi Amor to succeed and turn things around.
You want to stay for details here on the Midday News with me, Emefa Apau. And in our very first story for this afternoon, honor your final promise or phase are off. These are words of customers of Gold Dealership Men's Gold who have for over 1 year been demanding payments of their investments. Their demand comes as officials of Men's Gold today began the elaborate process that will see some, if not most of their customers receiving their locked-up funds. The company has asked customers to submit documents to verify their identities as part of requirements to be paid their monies. Public Relations Officer for Men's Gold, Ni Amatefio, has been explaining why the process is necessary.
Validation that we are doing, we're not using the branches.
Yeah.
Okay, we are using outlets to do it. So it doesn't matter where you trade it. It doesn't. Okay. You can be in Takwa, you can come all the way to Osu to do your validation. It's accepted. What we are asking them to bring is photocopies, not original. So one, we are seeing the gold trading agreement. Now the gold trading agreement is when you walk into Men's Gold and you wanted to trade with us, we sign a contract or an agreement with you, that is between the company and then the person who wants to trade with us. That contract or that agreement is what we are requesting. The next one is a receipt of gold traded or purchased. Now, when you come to Men's Gold, what we do is to trade in gold. So we are coming in to trade gold with us. So the receipt that you have where you purchase your gold, so that receipt, do a photocopy of that and add it to the agreement. The next one is the commission receipt. The commission receipt is that because we have the platform to trade your gold for you, we charge you a certain amount of money, and that's the commission. Okay. And we issue a receipt to you. The last one is your national ID, a valid national ID. If you're outside the country and you have you have the document here, you can call your relative or your friend or whatever, and they can do the validation on your behalf. Okay. Somebody can do it in someone's instead.
You heard the Public Relations Officer for Men's Gold, Ni Amatefio, explaining the process earlier. So the validation exercise is currently underway in parts of the country. Let's start from Osu here in Accra, where my colleague Nancy Emefa Dradosi has been interacting with some of these customers.
Her comments are simple, that she wants her money. In fact, she made reference to a year ago when I interviewed her. This is not how she actually looked. She says that she has lost all her energy because she's been drained, she didn't have money to eat and all of that. And so all she's asking is that this should be the end of the promise and fail.
any bosome or the sika be my because edding number one why I am pointing my penny to say me yejina wiaso number one.
When you heard the news about this verification process, what came into mind?
Oh, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. If December catch, I am not ready to hear any story from now one, next month, next this. No.
We've been through a lot. If not, what will happen. And nobody should blame anybody for it. This is our money. It's our birthright.
So you had some customers there interacting with my colleague Nancy Emefa Jadosi. Thankfully, she joins us live on the line. So Nancy, take us through the steps of validation. Did they tell you what exactly they are supposed to be doing?
So all they know is that they have been asked to bring photocopies of their documents, which includes receipts, that they are actually customers or have investments with Men's Gold. I must say that when I got here around some 8:30 to 9 o'clock, I met some customers who tell me they were here as early as 6 to 7 o'clock. In fact, the person who I met who told me she was here at 7 o'clock said she was number 195 at the time. And I must say that as of around 10:30, the last person I spoke to was number 495. That should tell you the number of people who are gathered here. And you know that this is not the only outlet that these people are supposed to come and present their documents. They're supposed to go to Medina, Mile 7, Dansoman, and some other parts of Accra. So basically here so far, the process has been a bit smooth, and just that a few of them were hesitant and aggressive when they saw the media around.
Well, we understand the queues are so long and winding, they have to rent chairs. Is that the case?
Yes, one woman told me that her money has been locked here at Men's Gold. She doesn't have anything. And unfortunately for her, when she came, she thought that they were going to be provided with seats and undershirts. But that is not the case. In fact, some people, as I speak to you now, are seated on their plastic chairs which they rented again with their money. Some of them holding umbrellas. Some of them actually now carrying their plastic chairs to cover their heads. In fact, about an hour ago, it was about to rain. It was drizzling. We should see them with handkerchiefs covering their head. That should tell you, how serious they are about going through this process so that it helps them get their money back.
That's my colleague Nancy Emefa Jadosi with the situation here in Accra. And I'm told in Kumasi, it's no different. Love FM's Prince Apia joins us on the line with more. So, Prince, where exactly are you and what's happening where you are?
At Edum, and the process is happening in two places, Edum and Bremang. I'm currently at Edum where there's a long queue here. I should say that what the officials here decided to do was that they asked the customers to write down their names as early as 8 o'clock. They started the process at 9, and as I speak to you now, they've decided to serve the aged first before they serve those who are not aged, and the process has been very smooth here, I should say, but the queue continues to become long because more people are here to join, and you can see a number of them also are in uniforms. You can talk about nurses, you can talk about other professionals. Some of them are in uniforms, telling you that some have left their post to come and see if they can access their locked-up investment.
It's so smooth. You go there and then they will take the claim documents they are talking about. They just go through their process and then you would go to sign in the book and they give you a receipt. So I think it's not too tiring. Just that the queue over here is what keeps us tiring. But the process is smooth. We are only hoping and anticipating that they will actually pay us with all these processes that they have started.
But have they told you when to come for the money?
Personally, I have no idea. I was listening to the interview by the PR. He did not state the time. But we are also hoping that they are going to pay us as they wish. That is all the hope we are casting.
Now, Prince, did you get the opportunity to interact with officials of Men's Gold, and what have they been telling you?
Yeah, that we couldn't get the opportunity to speak to them. All that they are saying is that if you want any comment from them, then it should come from Accra, and the PR session of the company in Accra is to take care of any communication in that regard.
But these customers, though, are they hopeful they will get their monies at this point?
That has been the chorus among all of them. They are expectant that at the end of the day, at least their monies are going to be paid this time around, because all this time it has been promise after promise, which has resulted in demonstration after demonstration. So for this time, they are expectant, highly expectant, that at least their monies are going to be handed over to the NFR.
Love FM's Prince Apia there, and we understand this exercise has been replicated in other parts of the country. We'll be following that exercise and then bring you more subsequently in other bulletins. But participants at the Joy Business Oil and Gas Forum in Accra are calling for the streamlining of the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation to properly manage oil money spent. According to them, the broad focus of the corporation and an inadequate regulation structure means all revenues cannot be properly accounted for. Here's Head of Programs at the Institute of Fiscal Studies, Nicholas Dihier.
Between 2011 and 2018, about 31% of the revenue was allocated to GNPC. Another 31% went to the Ghana Petroleum Funds, the Stabilization Fund, and the Heritage Fund. What have we spent the revenue on? 0% of the amount that goes to the ABFA, the national budget. For agriculture, we spent a paltry 11.9%. For education and capacity building, we spent some 21.9%, about a fifth of the total. And then we've spent some on expenditure and amortization of loans for oil and gas infrastructure. That also we spent close to 20%. There are some issues to ponder. The efficiency of our spending. How efficiently have we used our petroleum revenue as a country? If you look at what we've spent through the national budget, you'll notice that we have spread the funds very thinly. Because you see, the PRMA states that we need to spend using a medium-term framework, expenditure framework, which is aligned to a long-term national development plan.
Mr. Dihier has also been advocating an amendment to the current GNPC law to track the efficient use of oil funds.
Perhaps it is time to give GNPC a new law. A law that makes GNPC more focused on its mandate and curb its tendencies to engage in wide-ranging activities that detract from efficiency. We need to review the problem areas with the PRMA. We need to address the ambiguity with the setting of a ceiling on the stabilization fund, indicate guidelines for setting the ceiling, and very importantly, review those inhibitory clauses within the PRMA that impinge on the work of the Investment Advisory Committee. One day, all will become like Nokia 3310. Who uses a Nokia 3310 now? It's gone. And that day will be upon us soon. In fact, studies point to the Jubilee fields being completely depleted by 2044. That's not too far off.
Meanwhile, ranking member on the Mines and Energy Committee, Adam Mutawakilu, says Ghana has lost an opportunity to harness the prospects of the oil and gas space. He admits there must be some amendment to the GNPC law to ensure open participation in terms of petroleum agreement, but maintains that would not be enough.
Are we putting the necessary even structures in place to get there? As we speak, I don't think we are doing the necessary things that are needed to get it. I know the GNPC Act, but stripping it naked to just focus on upstream, I don't think that one will be the best way. Acquire the technical know-how to be able to stand alone and to become a global competitor, irrespective of amending the law. If we don't intentionally ensure that in negotiating every PA or some PAs, we ensure that they take active part in operatorship. You realize that the operatorship in terms of TALO, GNPC is not an operator. The only place where GNPC was supposed to be an operator is the AGM block, where GNPC was to set up a special purpose vehicle, which we call the S-Bloco. And they had to take some shares. And in that agreement, they were to be joint operators. That is where the meat is. If you are not an operator and you continue to carry it. But unfortunately, that has been taken off in the renegotiated agreement. And that is quite sad for Ghana. I thought that we had lost an opportunity to be able to get to where we want to be.
Ranking member on the Mines and Energy Committee, Adam Mutawakilu, speaking at the Joy Business Oil and Gas Forum currently underway at the Mövenpick Ambassador Hotel. This is the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. On to some other stories now. The U.S. Embassy in Accra has expressed surprise at government's decision to terminate the PDA's agreement as it reviews Ghana negotiated with the Millennium Challenge Corporation to ensure Meralco be maintained in the deal. As you know, the government of Ghana entered into the agreement with PDS as a condition vision for securing the second compact under the Millennium Challenge Corporation of the United States. But Ghana has pulled out, insisting PDS committed fraud. Spokesperson at the U.S. Embassy, Naomi Matters, has been speaking in an exclusive interview with Joy News' Kojo Yankson.
So there was a period where they came to this pre-negotiated way forward, but then, you know, the final decision makers, they have to sign so we can actually put into place what was laid out in the pre-negotiated agreement.
Right.
But that's when the government of Ghana decided to go a different way. And that's when we, of course, as a result, the government of Ghana produced their letter saying that their intent of terminating the concession. And then we noted with regret our position. I just want to make the point that this was not an ultimatum. This was the culmination of 13 weeks of negotiations and collaboration with the government of Ghana. This is the pre-negotiated internal work product that I was mentioning.
That's right.
That was drafted together with the Ministry of Finance.
This document, drafted by Government of Ghana and MCC, said that Meralco would be maintained, other shareholders would be maintained, but there would be the inclusion of some new shareholders to participate following due process. Have I got that right?
Yes, it's in the letter.
So as at last week, Friday, which I believe is when the meeting was held, the government of Ghana was going to maintain Meralco.
I mean, that's what was pre-negotiated, and that's what is in the letter, correct. I really want to hone on the fact that this was not an ultimatum. This was not an ultimatum, all right? We sat down, the U.S. government, with the government of Ghana to try to come up with an amenable solution. And since the beginning, since 2014, the $190 million was contingent upon a successful concession, right? And since the government of Ghana decided to terminate the concession, by that agreement, we had to pull back the $190 million. That's just how the agreement was laid out. They made a decision, we noted it with regret, and that precipitated what happened next, which was the $190 million being taken back.
Naomi Matters, there's a press attaché at the U.S. Embassy in that interview with Kojo Yankson. Now, she makes reference to a number of letters, and my colleague Malik Dabu has a copy of these letters and joins us in studio with it. What exactly is she talking about in these letters?
For the first letter that she talked about was the one which was issued by the Millennium Challenge Corporation. This letter was dated October 18, 2019, and the letter made reference to two meetings that were held both in New York, one on September 22nd to 24th, the other one in Washington, October 15 to 18. Now, it was in this letter that it was stated that the government agreed to do a number of things. Let me just read that portion. Action items. The government agrees to complete, as the government of Ghana, agrees to complete the following actions by the applicable date specified below. And upon receiving evidence satisfactory to it of such completion, MCC agrees to take the stipulated corresponding actions. And what the government agreed to do was to formally announce the reinstatement of PDS's concession rights under the transition agreement, and then lift the suspension of the lease agreement, assignment agreement, and the bus supply agreement. And so those two, and it was supposed to do this by October 30th, 2019. And if that happened, then MCC's action would be to release to MEDA the tranche 2 funding and permit such funding to be committed to the approved contracts under the compact multi-year financial plan. So that's what she was talking about. And you heard her say they expressed surprise by government's letter. This was the finance minister's letter, which was also coincidentally issued on the same October 18th, 2019, and also making reference to those meetings and saying on the basis of those meetings, the government had decided that it would terminate the agreement.
Does it raise any issues of contradictions?
Absolutely not. But she just says that because they had all of these negotiations that culminated in the MCC issuing this letter, that says that the government would take certain steps that would then be the precursor for the MCC to also take certain steps. And then the finance ministry issues this statement. They found it surprising that after all of that agreement was reached, the government issued a statement which took a different direction from what the MCC thought they had agreed on.
We always fact-check claims. Thank you very much. Malik Abbas-Dabu is head of our investigative desk here at Joy News. Now, it's time for the Clean Ghana campaign, and we are turning our attention to Kumasi, where prostitutes at an infamous brothel have been forced by KMA officials to clean the makeshift accommodation where they practice their trade. As Erastus Asaridonko reports, the ladies of the night were made to clear heaps of refuse and human excreta littered around the area.
The Ashanti Regional Security Council recently declared war on prostitution in the regional capital, Kumasi. Here in the city center, however, what is known as the oldest profession thrives, with foreigners from some of Ghana's West African nations dominating. They live and work in these makeshift structures in an environment we found littered with waste, including human excreta. On reaching the ground, the ladies of the night were asked to come out of their cubicles to clean their surroundings. Some men offered to help them to clear overgrown weeds and had to pay tricycle riders to cart the rubbish away. Godfred Barr led the operation.
We have visited a dome at the back of the Pacific Bank and in front of Ashawo People's area, and they have created a lot of refuse heaped in front of them, and we are to enforce them to abate. So this is what we are doing right now.
This man, who was found to have illegally erected some structures, was asked to assist the city guards to demolish them. In the process, the team discovered wrapped substances suspected to be marijuana in one of the structures. Your area could be next. Keep Kumasi clean. Make Kumasi clean again.
And the Clean Ghana campaign is on. We'll take a quick break here on the Midday News. When we return, Interior Minister Ambrose Derry says significant investment have been made in securing both Ghana's borders and internal security as he comments Joy News series highlighting the state of Ghana's borders.
This document that you have brought is going to help us enhance our effort, and indeed, I can assure you that in due course, you would see that the President would lead a program that will make good the concerns that you have brought.
And later,
I studied at dawn in the evenings, so during the mornings my father gives me work and I do it. He explains it to me, but I don't go out most of.
12-year-old child prodigy Viemins bound for shares his academic journey as he begins pursuit of public administration course at the University of Ghana. We'll also get to hear from his teacher.
I asked, whose brother is this? And they were like, say, he's part of us. I was like, oh, wow, that's sorry, Oga. And I mean, we all made laughter out of it. But I mean, it's quite something unique to see such a young person at the university level.
UMB was established in 1972 as the premier bank for the corporate and private sector in Ghana. From our very beginning, as the only Ghanaian bank serving all categories of businesses, we set a standard for excellence and innovation. Over the past 45 years, we've built a financially healthy and strong bank, demonstrated our commitment to our customers and to growing businesses, and exhibited originality and innovation at every turn. At UMB, our focus is built around people, service, products, and technology. These are the key to our present success and our future triumphs. At UMB, we're poised to make a difference not only with our customers, but also in the banking industry. We invite you to share in our future. Our future starts now with you.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News. Let's do sports now.
Yes, and it's time to ignite passion and create wealth for all. That was a key campaign message for new Ghana Football Association President Kurt Okraku. He's already hit the ground running with a visit to Kumasi over the weekend to watch the Asante Kotoko and San Pedro game. A lot, of course, will be expected of him as the football community and the general public want to see changes in our football. Dr. Kofi Amoah, who before Friday's elections was in charge of the FA, thinks Kurt and the new leaders of the federation must make a conscious effort to take the game to a different level.
You can see the enthusiasm that people have for their preferred candidates. But all in all, you can also see the conviviality, the sense of unity, the sense that we are doing something important for our nation. Something happened, something went wrong, a normalization committee was put in place. Now we have come to the end of the road. But there's the beginning of another road. That is the real road of rebuilding Ghana football.
So that's Dr. Kofi Amoah. Ndiabe is one of 3 representatives from Division 1 on the Executive Council. Well, he insists Kurt Okraku is the right man to lead the FA.
Well, he's the right man, and the delegates have chosen him. He's the right man, and he will lead Ghana football for the next 4 years. He's somebody I've known for about 20 years. I mean, we go way back, and I think that he has what it takes to lead the team. To deliver on the mandate.
So that's Ron Ndiabe. He's on the Executive Council. Now, the replay of the Asante Kotoko and San Pedro CAF Confederation Cup playoff game is on this afternoon at the Babara Stadium after the game was rained off yesterday. Join us at 1 for more sports on the Joy Sports Track.
Thank you very much, Benedict. Now, Interior Minister Ambrose Derry says significant investments have been made in securing both Ghana's borders and internal security. His comments come on the heel of a Joy News series which highlighted the porous nature of Ghana's borders with neighbouring countries. That documentary was presented to the minister today by Joy News' security desk, Gifty Andropia. Listen to him.
I would like to thank you and Joy FM for the documentary that you have been running on the borders and the issues that you've raised about the porousness of the borders and what needs to be done and what can be done. I can assure you that the Immigration Service has been monitoring your documentary, and indeed His Excellency the President and the entire government has been assessing the border situation since His Excellency came into power. You recall that when President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo came into power, he put in place a paradigm shift, moving security to the front, because as he did promise every Ghanaian, he wants everybody in Ghana to feel safe.
Interior Minister Ambrose Derry after he received a porous border series from our head of security desk, Gifty Ando Apia. Now, at the age of 12, Viamins Bamfo is expected to be preparing for basic education certificate examinations, but scratch that. He's currently a first-year student reading public administration at the University of Ghana's Distance Education School. He explains that his tough academic journey of learning at dawn and evening propelled him to rock shoulders with older students. Joy News' Kwete Nate caught up with Viamin to find out how he's coping with university education after skipping both junior and senior high school.
He got social media buzzing this weekend when many saw him in a video delivering matriculation speech on behalf of university freshmen. He was selected ahead of 2 other colleagues by a school panel to deliver a speech at the special occasion. Head of Accra Learning Center of the University of Ghana Distance Education School, Dr. Isaac Ofibani, said a 12-year-old exhibited a spectacular power of a language when he appeared before the panel.
Out of the 3 applicants, we saw Vermens had that control, had that power to hold his own.
Vermens Bamfo will pass as a normal child in any basic school. He is slim, cheerful, and measures a height of 5 feet. But he's pursuing a diploma education in public administration at the University of Ghana's Distance Education School. It is his 4th week in class, and it appears his tough academic journey has given him an edge to sail among colleagues who are generally not his peers.
When I was 12 this year, he registered me for the WASI. I passed, then I got diploma in public admin, so I'm pursuing it.
His goal is to be a president someday, but academically, he aspires to pursue a PhD when the time is right.
I hope to become the president of Ghana.
But academically, what are you looking at?
PhD.
Guess who his role models are? Vermins gives an insight.
the former president of the United States, Barack Obama, and the current president of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo.
David Eduhine is one of his lecturers. His first impressions of vermins was that of shock. Now he tells me the 12-year-old is a reference point in gauging how the class understands his lessons.
I asked, whose brother is this? And they were like, say, he's part of us. I was like, oh, wow, sorry, Oga. And I mean, we all made laughter out of it. But I mean, it's quite something unique to see such a young person at the university level.
But among his colleagues, he's an inspiration of where one can start in life.
When I saw him the first time, I thought he was someone scared, like a mother brought him. But as time went on, he was answering questions. So I got to know that he was part of us. And I really liked it because in the past years now, I've been looking at most of the UG squad and other people, and I've got to know that there's nobody little than him in most of the classes. So I'm really privileged that he's in our class.
For the school's administration, he has set a very big record. Dr. Baini again.
I've seen a number of students come on board the program, but this is my first time of seeing a 12-year-old coming and on board a degree program. And I think it's a record.
If not being the first at the Accra City campus to give hope of the height one can reach academically to the scores of colleagues who swam him in class, he is an inspiration. Kwete Artist reports, Accra.
And on that inspiring note, to bring down the curtains on this edition of the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. I am Memefa Pau. Living Word is up next with Dr. Mensa Otabil.